Speakeasy will transport you back to the Roaring '20s, the era of Prohibition. In Speakeasy, you will take the role of a savvy mobster boss, managing and operating your speakeasy business in Manhattan during the Prohibition era. Running a speakeasy empire is no easy task. You'll need to use all your cunning and resources to stay ahead of the competition. As you improve your operations, become more infamous, and upgrade to more lavish speakeasies and even casinos, ka-ching, you'll attract the attention of the outside mafia and the fuzz. You must use your leverage to keep your business running and receive your share from Lucky Luciano. In Speakeasy, you'll need to hire goons to help you take over Manhattan during the exciting and dangerous time. You will cook your books to fill up your saves with tax-free money by achieving goals. The ultimate goal is simple: accumulate the most money and become the most successful mobster in the city. Do you have what it takes to rise to the top of the speakeasy scene and take over Manhattan during Prohibition? It's time to grab your fedora and find out in Speakeasy.
Today on the Board Boys.
I think I said it a lot. Speakeasy. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Board Boys podcast, season 17, episode 13, the finale of, well, this season, I guess. Not the whole show.
Yeah.
This is your board boy, Mobster Sauce Rob.
Mobster Sauce. This is your board boy, living it up in New York, TK.
This is your boy. They got him on tax evasion, Jake.
Does anybody remember when they opened John Gotti's tomb?
No. Did they find it? Were they looking for it?
Yeah, isn't that what
It's under
Geraldo Riveria opened up and there was nothing in it?
Yeah, there's a chance. Was it under
they had a
Kauffman Stadium or something?
Yeah, they had a whole special episode of it, and they're like, oh my gosh, and then he walked in there and it was like...
It was under the Royals Stadium?
Not Royals. What's the Mets Stadium?
Shea, but it's City now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember it either, but it was in the 80s, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I just remember, I've seen, video footage of Geraldo Riveria, going in there. It was, a big old deal. And nada.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Editor's note, it was Al Capone's vault. We were way off.
Did either of you watch Boardwalk Empire, that HBO show that was...
I watched the first season of Boardwalk Empire, and after that, I was pretty much out. I would say I've always had a really hard time dealing with extended breaks and then caring at all about watching the show again. So at that point in time when it was on, there was a year between seasons.
Oh yeah.
I never.
I never really watched The Sopranos either.
I've never seen The Sopranos.
I've seen most of The Sopranos.
Okay.
And I enjoyed it. But I watched it again way later after it was done. And I didn't really enjoy Boardwalk Empire. I really would have thought I would have, again, being the social studies teacher, but I had a hard time taking Steve Buscemi seriously as a, head mobster. I don't know why. I had a hard time with it.
Yeah, I think Sopranos was probably a show I should go back and watch at some point just because of it. I don't know. It was extremely popular.
Oh, definitely. I think it was definitely a trailblazer in regards to the shows that it kind of opened up and having an anti-hero and being the primary character. It was good.
Do you guys like mobster movies?
Yeah.
I've seen all of the main ones, but none of them are my favorite movies.
I really like Casino.
I also
Casino's
really
good. Goodfellas is good. I was not super into The Irishman when I watched it.
Okay.
It was too
anytime
long.
you can put Joe Pesci in something like that, I'm in.
Joe Pesci in Home Alone is his masterpiece.
Well, okay. I'm not going to argue that,
Right,
I
hold
suppose.
on. Okay. I watched Home Alone 4 to kind of sidetrack this thing. Has anybody seen Home Alone 4?
I think I've seen 3, but not
What?
anymore. I refuse to watch
What
that
is
after that.
4?
Okay. So Home Alone 4 is the McAllisters,
Okay.
completely different actors. The mom and dad are getting a divorce. Dad, whatever his name is.
John Hurd, I think, was the...
No,
the
actual, the character.
Frank's the uncle. Peter? Peter. I think it's Peter.
Whatever his name is. Is dating a, heiress or something. So she has this crazy huge house, right? And then Marv? Is that Joe Pesci?
No,
is that
that's Harry.
Yeah.
Okay. So Marv is in it, but he's played by the guy from Third Rock from the Sun, Francis. I don't remember his name.
Yeah, the guy with the squinty eyes.
Yes, yeah. It's played by him. So, but Kevin McAllister is played by a little
wait,
kid.
in this movie,
I had no idea
this
they
movie-
brought that family
in
back.
this movie, the characters are the same.
same.
They're just different.
Yes, different actors completely. It's 20 years later, and they're in this wild divorce. So Kevin goes and stays at the Eris's house with his dad, and Marv tries to break in and steal a bunch of stuff and like kidnap a kid or something. I like, it was wild just like watching that they used the same characters with different actors but he was like basically the same age as he was in the first. It was
kind of like they rebooted it a little bit.
Yeah. Yes, it was like, but it was Home Alone 4. It wasn't like Home Alone,
right?
Yeah,
and that's so weird because Home Alone 3 broke away and had a different family. My joke was always that the reason that they had to switch families was that DHS intervened and took Kevin and the other kids away from that family after leaving them behind twice.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
So French Stewart replaced replaced Daniel Stern's character.
Yes. Yeah.
Interesting.
That's crazy.
The Sticky Bandits.
Yeah.
I think I've said this before, but I fully don't understand how it took me until like 2 years ago, despite watching that movie my entire life, to realize that Joe Pesci wasn't actually also a police officer, because at the beginning, I just thought he was, and he still robbed people. I
didn't realize Kieran Culkin was in that movie until recently, which is...
He's the sociopath cousin who has the bed.
Yeah.
Raises his eyebrows.
I guess the other one would be like The Godfather. I've only ever seen The Godfather Part 1.
2's really good.
Is it?
I haven't seen
3
2 or
is like
3 either.
Horrible, right?
No, I think 3 is still regarded well.
Is it?
It's not top movies of all time rankings.
I just remember like, I never watched it. I watched it when I was older, like an adult. And I remember being like, yeah, this is good. But like, I don't think I ever need to watch it again.
I'm pretty sure. So I get him confused in my head, but I'm pretty sure 2 is his, like, where he's, running the family or whatever. And then Robert De Niro is Marlon Brando as a like younger person growing up, like his rise to power in New York.
Gotcha.
It's very good. It's very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll have to. They're like all extremely long though, right?
They are all extremely long. Yeah.
That's what's keeping me from like, I want to go watch the new Avatar movie. And I'm like,
how long is that?
Over 3 hours.
Oh, God.
Woof. Is there 3 of them now?
Yeah.
I remember when I saw Avatar, I did a double feature that day, and it was Avatar and Fantastic Mr. Fox, and I was so much more happy with Fantastic Mr. Fox than I was Avatar.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I love Wes Anderson, so.
I never watched Avatar when it originally came out, and it was the first Blu-ray I ever owned, and I never watched it. I didn't watch Avatar until Avatar 2 came out, and then like we watched them back to back, and like I enjoyed them.
Did you think upon finishing the first one that it's the exact same plot as Pocahontas?
No, because I don't even remember Pocahontas.
But I mean, it's the same like general trope of like
it's
someone falling in love with somebody that they're not supposed to. Like
and imperialism,
and switching sides,
taking over. Yeah,
I mean, there's probably 10 Disney movies that have that same.
Yeah, that's true.
But shocking.
Yeah, I was never a big fan, but it was just so long, and that's not really my jam of type of movie.
So this one wasn't on my list to talk about, but because we've been talking movies, I want to talk about Movie Night from All Play. And it is a small box game that I bought at Dungeons Gate right before the holidays because I was like, we love movies and this would be fun just to like, it's more like an activity, and ultimately the game, quote unquote, ultimately is supposed to help you decide what movie you want to watch. Or like at the end, you like pick the movie you want to watch. And basically in this game, there is I forget what's in it. There's basically a yes pile and a no pile, or like contains and does not contain. So you put those cards next to each other, and then you'll flip over a card, and it might be like contains snow, right? The card might say snow on it. So you might say Frozen, right? And then you flip over another card, and then it says a female lead character. Well, it can't be Frozen because it has a female lead character in it. So then you got to think of a different movie that meets both those criteria. And it's funny, like, I just kept starting with the same movies over and over again, like Die Hard or this or that. And the first time we played it, Bo read the rules and led us all through it. And he thought you had to have 5 in each column before you won. And I'm like, by the time we had like 4 of these have to be in, or we even got to like 5 in each column, and I'm like, I don't know, man. Like trying to figure out a movie that meets all 10 criteria was really hard sometimes. And ultimately, you're only supposed to go to 5 total things, 3 in the yes and 2 in the no. And they just kind of re-rack them. But it's a fun like little thought experiment. Like you could do it in the car, you could do it waiting for dinner, you could do it anytime really.
that would be valuable on those times where, we're thinking about watching a movie and we just fall into the trap of looking through the streaming things and then we never decide. And then it gets late enough, we're like, yeah, we're not going to watch a movie anymore.
Yeah.
That's like most of my existence with movies.
Yeah, it was a neat little game. Like I say game in air quotes there. It's a cool little box to play with your family. It takes literally 5 minutes, or I guess as long as you want to sit there thinking about your movie choices.
Did you find a movie you wanted to watch?
I mean, we ultimately weren't using it for that purpose.
Okay.
We mostly were just binge watching Stranger Things. So
It's a lot. It's a commitment.
it is. Well, we were pretty well caught up, but then I think we watched season 5 like twice. So it's a big favorite in our household amongst all the different people.
Okay.
So
Wally's really obsessed with Demogorgons right now. And so I think it's probably I shouldn't have a 6-year-old watch it. He'd be super scared, but everything is Demogorgon this, Demogorgon that right now.
Bo and I did play the Stranger Things board game the other day. It's an older co-op. It has season 1 on one side and season 2 on the other side. It's a really hard game. I'm not really going to talk that much about it. If you can find it and you like Stranger Things and you want a co-op game, give it a shot. It is fairly thematic with all the characters and all the things, but it is pretty hard, I would say, for a mass markety type co-op game.
I think I remember you saying that the last time we talked about it, maybe like a couple years ago.
Probably.
That it was very hard.
It was. We won, but we kind of fudged our way to victory,
Okay.
I would say. Just because some of it felt so painful.
Couple take backsies.
Well, ultimately, when you play a co-op game with Bo, sometimes you lose in the first 3 minutes.
I've played those games before.
So it's like, I'm just going to do this. I'm like, you probably should get an item or this. No. I got it. Okay, we literally lost on the first action of the game. And that has happened on more than one occasion with more than one game.
Bo likes opening the door.
Yeah, it's like, let's open this door and see what's up.
Yeah. Usually it's not good.
I'm just going to throw out one more small box all-play game. It's called Three Witches. It is by Corey Young, and the artist is Sai Beppu. I just wanted to mention that because we met her at Gen Con, and she's awesome. And she does the art for all their little $9 small box games. Three Witches re-implements a game called Five Deadly Venoms, and this is a 3-player only trick-taking game. And in it there are 4 or 5 suits, and there are not the same numbers in every suit. And what you do is you get dealt, and there's one crystal ball that is a multiplier that's a ×2. Whoever gets dealt that, the person to their left starts the bidding. And you can bid 3 or you can bid 4 tricks. So if I get the ball and then Jake's on my left and bids 3, and let's say Tim passes, I could bid 4. And there's a little card that shows that there's a 3 and a 4 side. So whatever you bid, you take and you put it in front of you. If I get the bid, I am the lead witch, and you two are on a team against me. And I have 5 cards in my hand. I'm trying to remember how this goes. And then you guys I think we all have 6 cards. And then you guys have to get rid of a card out of your hand, working together. And all the 2s are like Eyes of Newt. And if I lead a 2 face up, you have to play your cards face down, so you can't really cooperate. And so the lead witch always leads every trick, and they place 1 face up and 1 face down. If both of the cards are the same color, you add them together. If they're the same number, you add them together. If they're different colors or different numbers, you only take the higher number. Same way, if the 2 teamed up witches play their cards, same color, same number, add together. And then whoever wins, if I win, I get to secretly decide which of the 2 cards to put back in my hand. And then if you guys win, you get to decide which one goes back into my hand and which one I got to discard. So even though I'm playing 2 cards every time, I always get 1 back. Except for the multipliers, the ×2, it can only be played 1 time. It can never be played face. There's some special rules with it. Anyway, if you make your bid, you get 2 of these tokens. If the other 2 witches stop you from making their bid, they each get 1 token, and you play to 5 tokens. It's really good.
So
I've never played.
It's only 3 players.
It's exactly 3
Okay.
players, and it's really neat. Trying to figure out, because you can make them go over the trick amount too. because they have to be exact on the tricks they take. So if they say 4 tricks, they can't take all 5. They can only take 4. Or if they take 3, they got to take 3. So 3 Witches, it's another $9 game. The limitation is it's 3 players only. It takes 20 to 30 minutes probably to play, depending on how fast you play. And how many rounds you have to do. Like when we played it, we were all like at 4 tokens, and like it had a weird thing where it kind of depended on if you were partners with someone. Like if Tim and I were partners and I only had 3 tokens and you had 4 tokens and we were going against Jake, like I might throw that game to Jake if you didn't win. Otherwise, I would just be giving you the win, right?
Right. Yeah.
So the game gets kind of weird when you get up to that count, but it's neat. I've never played anything like it.
I like trick taking. I have 3 people in my house.
There
Sounds
you go.
great. Yeah.
Yeah. That is one thing. I didn't think Bo would really like trick-taking games, but he likes trick-taking and ladder climbing games.
They're fun.
Yeah, we played over New Year's, we played Dilbert Corporate Shuffle, which is a variation of The Great Dalmoody, which is a variation of Presidents and A-Holes. If you're ever playing that game.
Nope.
It's basically a card game where if I play 3 5s, you can play 3 6s or something higher, and then you're just trying to get rid of your hand first. And the first person that goes out is the big boss, and the next person goes out the little one, and then it plays up to 6. The middle people are just like middle management, and then the bottom 2 would be the interns. And you can, depending on how like crazy you want to be, you can make them do your bidding or whatever. Like the lowest guys always got to deal out and scoop the cards and do all that stuff. When we were younger, we used to play like where we get like different levels of comfortable chairs.
Okay, that's fun.
And just like have some fun with it. But Dilbert has like some like wild cards in it that make it kind of fun. I know it's a game I've had since like my Magic playing days. We used to play that like in between like Magic tournaments and things. So I really like it. The Dilbert one only plays 6. Great Dalmoody, you can play like a ton of people. It's a super old game. It's similar to, I think it's also similar to a game called Wizard, if you ever heard of that. So
yes, I was under the impression Wizard was like up and down the river.
I don't know what that is.
It's basically where everybody gets dealt one card.
Oh no, you're right. Wizard is like Oh Hell.
Yeah.
And also like we were talking about games on Tuesday. There's different card games because we're talking about Skull King. It's like Skull King as well. Only Skull King has all the wild powers in it.
Yeah. Skull King was too much for me.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I have the expansion pack for it that has even more crazy stuff in it.
It was too crazy.
All right. Well, if you want to do something even more crazy, I've got you.
I mean, I think we played Skull King at like 6 people too, which was maybe it was even more than that. It might have been 8,
that's
which was
a lot.
wild. Yeah.
I got a couple I want to talk about. It's been a mixed blessing to not have been on the last several podcasts because I actually have games to talk about now. And I even have some for next time I'll go over. But anyways, the first one I want to talk about is Click-a-Tree. And so this is by Uwe Rosenberg. The artist is Roman Kurcharski, and it's Skellig Games. The theme is it's taking place in Ghana, so it's kind of like the next step in the Atiwa, the next step there. And so the idea here is it's based on conservation efforts. They're trying to reforest certain areas that have been deforested. And so they're planting trees, and then there are certain fruits that grow really well and work with the trees in the shade of them. And so basically all you're doing is you're building a little tableau of different trees, or I guess you're building a set of tiles of different trees, different fruits that are on them, and they also have different letters on them. And so you have this board in front of you, and there are different, like basically ways you have to build, like so have 3 identical trees that are in the shape of a pyramid, or have 6 consecutive trees regardless of what they are. And as you accomplish those things, you remove those tasks, and by doing that, it opens up more inventory for you to hold fruit. And so the game ultimately is a race in that you are trying to get a certain number of fruits over the threshold that matches that number. And so you also are playing these tiles that allow you to harvest fruit, and then, that's how you're collecting them. And so there's numbers on the side of the board that are 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. And upon completing those harvest tiles, it moves a number down, and then you win the game by getting that number of fruits over that line. So for instance, the lowest number is 7. So if you get 7 of the, I think it's 8 or 9 fruits above that line, that would cue the end of the game. Or if you get rid of all your tiles, you may only have to get 2 fruits above the 2 line, which is towards the top. So at first, when I first played it, I was kind of iffy on it because the rules with harvesting feel a little disjointed in some cases when you're first doing it. And then the way that the tiles are split for where there are multiple fruits on it, you don't actually have to have the fruit touching another tile. Like if I have a tile that's half cherry and half avocado, if the avocado half is touching another tile that's cherry, each tile counts as the full fruit. And so you get this kind of weird thing where you don't think something is touching another one. And so the harvesting feels kind of weird. But once you've worked your way past that, I've grown to really enjoy it. I enjoy the spatial aspect of how you are building out your tiles while also keeping the end goal of the race in mind. So I've played it 4 or 5 times now, and I definitely have grown to enjoy it. It's quick. It's a pretty easy teach. And yeah, I can play up to 4. But yeah, it's nice and light and interesting.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun. I wasn't expecting it to be a race when you when you brought it out. Has we done another race game?
I don't know. Is Bonanza a race?
No, but I consider things like Reichhold a race.
Okay.
Where like you're trying to move your thing around the track the farthest by the end.
Okay. But it's really good. I know I got mine through Kickstarter. I assume that it'll probably go to retail, and I know some of the money ends up going back to that area. It's kind of cool. In the back of the rule book, they have like a little map that shows you like what is Uwe Rosenberg Forest, like what's been planted from that and different things from there. So it's cool, and it's nice that it's giving back, but it was a pleasant surprise. So I've been happy with it.
I think we played it in like 20 minutes.
We played it super fast, yeah. And even at higher play, there's so minimal you do on your turn. You basically, you spend a fruit to take 2 tiles, you play those tiles, you play a harvest tile, and then you go to the next round. And so you're just keeping track of those tasks, and once you move them off, which you can do at any time, you are contributing to your race. The other one I want to talk about is Bone Wars, and this is by Wim Goossens, who is the same designer as Oak, which is a game that we've done on the podcast before, and I really enjoyed. The artist is Laura Bevan, and it is from Game Brewer, or I should say the former Game Brewer, because it doesn't exist anymore. It is basically, the theme of the game is there are 2 rival paleontologists that are competing with each other, so it's based on the real historical Othaniel Marsh and Edward Cope. And so they were both kind of leading the charge with paleontology discoveries, but they were super cutthroat with each other to where they would pay people to sabotage bones they found. They would try to humiliate the other in debunking. And so the game has a really unique mechanism where you are a supporter of one or the other, but you can change that throughout the game. So you can always do that between rounds, but there are other things that allow you to publish as well. And so you are basically moving your team around, you're collecting bones, you're putting those bones together based on these species cards, and then you're publishing those. You can debunk theories that other people have put forward. There's a lot of really interesting mechanisms to how it works, and the different locations. So you're traveling to different places across the US, and then the way that you take turns is you play a card, and you can either play a team card, a paleontologist card, or a species card into the spot. But the card will tell you how many actions you can get, but then also how deep you're able to dig. And so the cards that tend to give you more actions don't allow you to dig as deep. So you have some limitations there, but there are upgrade cards you can bring in. There are several different things you can do with your species cards and your bones. It's played over 4 rounds. On Tuesday, I played it for the second time, and we did with 4 players. The teach and the play was right about 2 hours, which I think that's 90 minutes is probably a pretty reasonable expectation for it once you've played it. It's not a game where you can necessarily do fundamentally different things each time, but I'm starting to feel that it's going to be similar to the feel I get with Ruins of Arnak, in that, yes, you're still kind of doing the same thing, but how you get there and the things that you utilize to maximize your success are different. And so I think that's going to keep it interesting for me. But I literally scored over double the amount of points the second time I played it. So it's definitely a game that I think you'll have more success upon a second play. But it's interesting. I like it. It's got a good table presence, and I think the theme draws people in. So I recommend it.
What you don't know is he actually just started his point marker on the other side of the board to double his score.
There is no point marker.
Yeah.
You just are getting little tokens for things.
I was close. It was
so close.
It was a good guess.
Yeah.
All right. So I got to play White Castle Duel. I think you also played that, Rob.
I did.
Yeah. So White Castle Duel is by the same 2 designers, Isra and Shay, I think are their names. This one is published by Devere 2. It is a 2-player version of White Castle, in where you are placing lanterns, I would guess. The three-pegged you have 6 lanterns of 3 different colors that you place on the board as your workers instead of your dice. So there's no dice drafting, there's no numbers there. When you place your lanterns, you are doing basically the 3 main actions, which is the courtier, which ends up being a little bit different, which is walking your guys up the palace. you are putting tokens into the warrior area, and then you are putting tokens into the farm area. For the most part, those actions are either those tokens are either doing those actions or then supporting your resources, getting little bonuses. There's some stuff that you can move the action tiles around in the game to maybe help be able to place a lantern in the spot that you want. One of the things is you can't place a lantern on top of the same color lantern. So that's a little trick on where you can kind of place, your worker placement. So you're going to place your 6 lanterns out, then you're going to pull lanterns off and do the actions again. So you get total of 12 actions. And in service, you're going to do this to basically get multipliers of symbols on the left side of your board, which will then score differently depending on the 3 kind of main actions help you do that. So it's similar to White Castle, feels different. I definitely liked it. I thought it was fun. I think it was a little bit less complicated, and it's definitely not as tight. You definitely have more resources. You're flush. I wasn't flush, but you definitely have more money and you have more seals and you can kind of have more access to stuff. I think it's a little bit more wobbly than maybe White Castle is, and you get 3 more actions in general. So, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I like the dice thing better in White Castle than the lanterns.
Yeah.
I think it's neat that you can pull off, when you're pulling them off, you can pull off any of them.
Yeah.
So you could do multiple things. The other interesting thing was there was a swap token where you could swap actions around on the board, which was fairly powerful to let you do maybe an action more than once. It's like White Castle, you kind of have 3 main avenues of scoring, and you could hammer one really hard.
Yep.
And that's kind of fun to do. I think ultimately, I think the game was easier to play than White Castle because I'd played White Castle before. I pretty much looked at the board and pretty much knew how to play.
Right.
I would say it's, 70% white. If you played White Castle, you're going to get this instantly. A lot of the stuff you look at the board, you're just going to know what's going on.
The lantern still...
Which was super short. I felt like you got to do a lot more of the lantern, the card actions, when you built your board up. It did feel like you just got more stuff in general.
Well, you run your resources every time you...
Yeah, regardless. Whereas the other one, you have to put a dice on your board to do it.
Right.
So this one, you're constantly running it to get the stuff. I really liked it. I don't think that I think I'll probably just keep White Castle in my collection. I don't think I need both of these, but if I had to pick between 2 of them and I had just one other person I played games with most of the time, this would be a slam dunk, I think.
My 9-year-old played it easily. So,
sure.
Yeah. So Remington liked it a lot. But,
cool.
Yeah, it was fun.
I have one that I'm going to talk about because Jake was talking about forests, and I played a game called Forestry. And this is by the same company that did Galileo Galilei, and Capstone's bringing it to the U.S. the same way.
Is it not in the U.S. right now?
It is. Ben got it at Dungeons Gate, so which is interesting. I think he didn't get a Capstone copy. Maybe he did, because it's Pink Troubadour is the name of the company. So maybe they just
did they. There might be
maybe Capstone's not doing it here. I might be making that up.
Or was it run through Kickstarter at all?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. Basically, you have 2 different workers. One is this excavator that's running around the board, and it basically will move through the forest. It fells trees to get it's a contract fulfillment game, but then you replant the saplings and then you can do stuff with that. And then you build more buildings to do cool stuff. And then you have a manager that kind of runs around the outside of the board, and he can do other stuff and get you resources and do things. And you have so many actions in the game. I don't remember how many. You just flip over a token every round and you get the bonus on it. Then you each take a turn and then you're done. The action point system is interesting. You just have so many actions you can spend per round, and you can spend things to get extra action points. The craziest thing in the game is you only take 1 turn. So you might have 5 action points and you do 5 different things, or some things cost more than 1 action point or whatnot. So turns, I only played it 2-player. I could see a game of this in 4-player. Turns could be maybe fairly long because someone could wobble into having to do a bunch of actions and you got to wait for them. But
evacuation, but you do your entire turn and then the next person takes a turn. Okay.
I think so. I really liked it though. The dual worker thing was cool. Having the 2 different workers to be able to do 2 different things on the board. The board looked and kind of felt like Catan because it had, you're actually building some of the stuff in between the hexes and things. So that was my joke, was it was advanced Catan, even though it's nothing like that.
So you're rolling dice and stealing stuff for the forest? Okay.
It's really neat though, because you're gotta fulfill contracts by getting certain colors of wood or types of wood. And then some of the contracts want them to be treated in certain ways. So then you need tokens to treat the wood. And maybe you want to play woodcraft.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you slice and dice your
No, you
your
don't.
dice
But like the contract part kind of made me feel like woodcraft a little bit. So, but it was a pretty big hit at Essen, I guess. We missed it at BGG Con, but it's already out in the States. So I highly recommend Forestry.
Sounds fun. I mean, I like both woodcraft and evacuation.
I thought you didn't really like evacuation anymore.
I mean, like it's good. It's one of his worst games. But
yeah, I think that evacuation. Next time I play it, I'm going to play it in the race mode and not the score mode again and see what I feel like.
Yeah, the biggest thing I hated about evacuation was that it felt like how you end the game and how you score the game was just tacked on to a pretty cool game.
Yeah, like I thought the mechanics in the game were super fun, and I thought the scoring was dumb.
Yeah.
Or just really obfuscated. Or you do all this work and you score like 8 points.
Right. Or you do all the work, you play for 2.5 hours, and then it's a race, and someone just hammers it.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I think the race is cool.
We haven't played the race, so.
Yeah. One more I want to talk about is the Druids of Edora, because I've got to play this twice. This is the new Feld. It's from Aaliyah and Ravensburger. In the Druids of Edora, you're basically placing out 13 dice if you can take a turn every turn. Otherwise, you have to do the bad druid action, and sometimes you don't get to place out all your dice if you take the bad druid action, which is basically taking some provisions and dice. On your turn, you have to move your little wooden totem along some roads, and you have to pay a provision for every space you want to move through and every dark path you want to move through. Some of the paths are dark, and I must mention this is like a puzzle piece board, so every time you play this game, the board is going to be completely different and modular, and the pathways are going to be all different. Once you move, you place a dice, and you have to pay provisions for every pip of the dice that's on there. The thing is, the higher the dice, the better the dice, so you got to be able to pay for it. If you cannot move and pay for it, that's when you got to take the bad druid action and take a dice off of the main board and then take 6 provisions. Then, on the space you end, you check to see if you have the highest dice there. If you do, you score 2 points. Guess what? You score 2 points a lot of times in this game. If you do something, you may score 2 points. After that, you do an action. There's tons of different actions because it's a Feld and they all can score you points in different ways. You can move up this knowledge track, which is ultimately a tiebreaker for who has maybe the biggest dice out there at the end of the game or during the game. And it also is a multiplier for endgame scoring. You can move your little marker along this little scythe marker along so you can cut these plants that at the end of your turn, there's a thing where if every plant you've cut off, you pick one to be active and inactive, and they give you a special power. Some of them just give you provisions, some of them give you dice, some of them let you put out these little totems on the board that give you stuff. There's probably 8, maybe 8-ish different actions you could do, but they're all very simple. After that, you check to see if you have made a path of dice that connects these 2 kind of Stonehenge-looking things, and if it is, you're going to get points, and you take those tokens off the board. And then, like I said, you cut the little plants, and then you get the special powers. And then you keep doing that over and over again. If you ever have to take something you don't get... the other action you can do is take more dice from the board. So you start with 4, and you have 9 more on the board that are available, but you have to take actions to get them off of the board. There's also potions you can brew that do special powers. I'm not doing it justice, but this is the feldiest Feld that I've played in a very long time. And it is quite possibly, I'm going to exclude Civolution because to me that's like a way different type of game. But this is really up there as far as Felds that I really, really like. Like it is almost Castles of Burgundy level, that kind of this or that. And we played it with 2 players in 30 minutes. If 4 players knew the game, you're probably going to play it in 90 minutes. So and you're going to feel like you did a bunch of stuff. I really, really like Druids of Edora, and I think you could teach this game to tons of people.
I'm very excited to play it.
So
I had a very hard time conceptualizing what was going on the board while you were talking about it.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
And
Is it better than Marrakesh?
Yeah.
Tight.
That's all Tim needed to know.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like Marrakesh. It's a completely different type of game. It's even more point salady than Marrakesh, I think.
Is it better than Bonfire? That's a Feld, right?
Mhm.
It is. You know what? Probably. As far as like, if I'm going to do a scale of like investment to how much it is to play it, like, I think so. Like, I really like all those games you listed, but this one is like, let's just play this game because it's easy and I can remember how to play it in 5 minutes.
Right. Okay.
Like, it's that. It's probably like over a 3 weight, but it is not a hard game to play once you know it. The rule book is a little rough due to
So,
translation things.
Is it Voynich puzzle rough or is it?
No.
Okay.
It is not. It is, oh, these two things seem really weird. It's because the English is bad rough.
Yeah. Okay. That'll always be my comparison to bad rule books at this point in time.
Yeah, it is definitely not that.
Okay.
All right. Well, tonight on the podcast, we played Speakeasy. It came out in 2025. It is currently 1,109 overall. It is ranked 8.5 on Board Game Geek. Earn money running a Manhattan Speakeasy during Prohibition. 1 to 4 players, best at 3. Hey, we did it. 50 to 180 minutes. I would like to see the 50-minute game of this. Maybe that's the solo,
I would say I played it under an hour solo.
not including setup.
Probably not including setup.
Ages 14 plus. It is weighted 4.32 out of 5. The designer is Vital Lacerda, artist is Ian O'Toole, and the publisher is Eagle Gryphon Games. Tim, what do you do in Speakeasy?
All right.
Or what don't you do in Speakeasy?
Yeah, you do a lot of stuff in Speakeasy. So in Speakeasy, you were playing through Prohibition. I believe it's 11 years in Prohibition. Does that sound right? 1921 to 1931?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're doing 11, you're playing 11, call it worker actions through the whole game. So you get 11 turns over, call it 3 acts plus a turn. And in those acts, you're basically placing workers. You're going to do all kinds of different actions, but centered around one, building buildings on the board. So you place a worker, you pay the money, you build the buildings, you get all kinds of different bonuses. In order to build buildings, you can place them in places that are maybe empty, or you can go take over mobsters, in which you will have another action to maybe up your power or befriend a mobster. So that'll help you kind of take over some areas and fight off the mob, in which you will also have to fight them if they are not there and they will come in. And then otherwise you're going to play kind of the 4 main actions are make booze, transport booze, and then sell booze. So you'll do those kind of 3 things in a bit of a loop. And then the 4th main action is protect your buildings from the cops. So in order to do that, you have to have leverage. You have to have family members available to protect your buildings. You're going to do those things. You can also do other things like rob boats from rum. You can go to the restaurant, which is basically how you manipulate turn order and play bonus tiles. And then anywhere in between, there's all kinds of little extra bits and bobs and nuggets that you can kind of wobble into some different actions. So through those, you'll play 4 actions and we'll do a area scoring. You'll do 3 actions, area scoring, 3 actions, area scoring, and then you do a final kind of cleanup turn.
19 to 33. I knew you were right in the wheelhouse.
Okay.
1919 to 33.
Excellent. Well, let's get to the table and come back with our thoughts on Speakeasy. All right, and we are back. Speakeasy. Before we get to first thoughts, have you ever been to, what's the popular whiskey place in Iowa? Templeton Rye?
I have not been there, no.
Do you know that I don't know if they still do it, but like I think you used to be able to, like in the recent years, like, because I think they did stuff during Prohibition.
Mm-hmm.
I think you used to be able to like send money and like literally like go pick something up in the middle of nowhere, like in a tree stump.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I might be making this up completely, and I'll look it up later, but someone told me that like they still did that kind of like as a promotional, like funny kind of thing.
That's
But
hilarious.
anyway, Templeton Rye is a really popular whiskey here
Yeah.
in Iowa. And like I see it all over the country, like when you go to bars or whatever. I don't know if it's like top shelf, but it's
good.
good stuff.
I mean, I know that we bought a barrel of it, I think, for our office, our company at one point in time.
I know they sell those barrels and stuff too.
Mhm.
Like my brother has like that in his basement for like like a bar, like a little tabletop type
Mhm.
thing. He loves some Templeton Rye. All right, well, initial thoughts. I'll go first. I saw this on Kickstarter and I was like, I don't like Vital Lacerda really, but I think this theme rips.
Yeah.
And then multiple people in our group were like, I'm getting it. I'm like, cool, I'll play your copy. So that's what I did.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a game. Like we tried to be better, a little bit better about it now, but like where you don't need to own multiple copies of it in general. And if you really like it, I'm sure it would be available here in a little bit to go then buy an actual copy.
For
But,
sure.
Yeah, no need to Kickstarter a $200 game multiple times. So I would say the same thing for me. Like saw it on Kickstarter, worker placement, and I thought the theme was really cool. It looked great. They did a really good job of putting out a bunch of promotional material when the Kickstarter came out, like videos and things like that. I thought that they did a really good job of like kind of showing you what the game would be like and kind of getting you into, is this going to be for me during Kickstarter? So I backed it. I was the one that backed it.
Yeah, I was excited to get it played. As we did a previous podcast on Inventions wasn't necessarily a huge hit for us, so I wasn't necessarily super eager to jump on the Kickstarter. But again, former social studies teacher, I was pretty excited about the theme, and upon playing it right away, I was very pleasantly surprised and thought it definitely was one of the more intuitive upon first playthrough for Lacerda. And I think that carries through as you play it more as well.
Yeah, I mean, getting into the pros, I mean, Eagle Gryphon always knocks it out of the park with production. Like, all the pieces are cool. The little trucks you drive around are cool. You put barrels in there. There's only really one edition of this game, right? Like, there's not, like, if you go buy this retail, this is going to be it. Like, they usually have, like, a small, like, Kickstarter promo type thing that might have, like, some extra components or something. Or, like, I know there was, like, special money and stuff for this
Yeah,
one.
so there was wood money I did not get. There was an expansion, which is the player powers.
But that was, like, an add-on.
That was an add-on, yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, otherwise everything else is...
Yeah, they just sell
There's
their
no
big
deluxe. There's,
Yep, it is what it is. And it's all good. Even, like, the cardboard money's big and chunky. Feels good. You got player screens. You have a ton of wooden pieces. The iconography, like, Tool always does a great... I know Cam doesn't like the art style or whatever, but, like, he just makes a game understandable.
Yeah.
Like, the first time I played this game, Tim taught me in about 10 minutes while we kind of like were setting up, and then just kind of taught me while we played the game. And it just made, like, the game just made sense through all the icons. The little player guide, I had my nose in that thing, figuring it out the first time we played. Tonight was my second time. I looked at the player aid maybe one time and then just went to like the actions on the board and looked at what I wanted to do, and I knew what I was doing. So
yeah, the iconography is fantastic. Like it,
for sure.
A game this complicated with this many little bonuses and things, like, it could be really bad. If it would be a much different game if the iconography was not nearly as good. So.
Yep, on that same note, I think the art's great. Like it's vibrant. It's really clear where borders and everything are. It's the different regions of the board and where you're looking to access the information you're looking for is really cool. Even the worker placement spots are all scenes that you're putting things in, and
yeah, because you are going to like the garage,
yep.
And there's the spots are divvied up, but like that's pictures of people in the garage or the restaurant or wherever it's at. So
yeah, and I know we kind of said this earlier, but the theme really does carry through. There's not times in this game where you feel like I'm just moving a cube from box A to box B. It is literally actions that you are taking to set up the things that you're going to do, and there's components that align with all of those. And I just think that's super well done. Like the theme fully is apparent.
I mean, everything makes sense. The cops are going to, the cops are going to show up everywhere. So you need somebody in all the locations to, what is that called?
Protect.
You're protecting your locations from the cops. And then every place is going to get infiltrated by other mobsters. And every place is going to get attacked that hasn't been attacked already. So it's not like you're going to luck out and like get missed somehow from that. At some point, those two things are going to happen. So I really like that too. And like deciding when you want to go into a place and like protect it, or like, oh, I got to protect this by the end of this round. And you have less people to work with as the game goes on, because you start with 4 guys, like you get like a juiced up first round, and then 3 guys. And then at the end of the last one's basically a final action kind of round, right?
Yeah. Clean up, score. Like you can, I actually do like this. Like you cook books in this game, which is basically like, call it goals that you're trying to go to as one of the actions. But yeah, the last round usually for me is like cook some books or sell your liquor or whatever that you have out there and kind of set up for it. But when you were talking about the art, did you mention that when you slide the cards in, they have like different pictures? So like, one of them's an open door with like people in there partying and stuff. So yeah, I really, the art is fantastic. Just fantastic. The rule book is very good too. It lays it out pretty well. And, they do a good job of like numbering the things, and those things are in the rule book to tell you like exactly if you have some questions. We had a couple questions on like crates or something, but yeah, it's really good.
I think a really cool mechanism in the game as well is that you have your money that's in your safe versus money that you have available to spend. And even the thematic ties of you have to launder that money to be able to use it, meaning it's $2 for every one you pull out. Like, that's fantastic, and add some tension points of, hey, do I want to spend it? Like, there's a lot of really good tension, and it's also, even though a lot of the things that you want to do require actions to set them up, the volume of places that you can get the things that you need allow you to wobble pretty well. And I think that's really enjoyable about the way this game works as well.
Yeah, and money seems to be fairly tight in the first 2/3 of the game.
Yep.
Maybe in the last third, like once you start actually selling a couple times, it's not quite as tight, but like you definitely dip into your safe. Like you can run a situation where you definitely dip into your safe.
Well, I think that it's really fun that is very thematic as well. Like,
right.
Starting and getting a foothold is hard and you're struggling. And then at some point, money just becomes, even though that's your points, becomes superfluous because I just have this pile in front of me and it doesn't even matter anymore. That's really fun. Another thing that matters a ton for me in games is, even though this game is pretty lengthy, I do feel like it leaves you wanting more. You can't do all the things that you need to do, especially building up into that last round where you only get one action. You really need to think about what is the way to maximize what it is that I want to do. For instance, I had set myself up perfectly to rob this other boat that was going to get me money, but like it just was more money to do something else. And so literally that was the reason why Tim ended up with more points than me. But at the same time, I like that feeling. Like I couldn't do everything that I wanted to do.
Yeah, I mean, in a game where we all scored 400 some points, we were all within 30 points.
Yeah.
That's a pretty tight game, I think.
Yeah.
And like the decision to spend money out of your vault I didn't do that the first game, and I did it a little bit this game. Like, it's nice that you have that option, especially early on when you don't have a lot of money, but like you want to put some investment into it early and hopefully it'll like return to you.
Yeah, it's an interesting, thought is like, okay, am I going to spend $36 or whatever for this casino to get it out there? Is it going to make me that money back or not? Or for me, I tend to dip into the vault. I've not had as good a success in the game building my still, which seems counterintuitive, whatever, but buying alcohol off the boats, like that is where I tend to dip into my safe quite a bit out of the beginning to get a good first sale in if I can. So
yeah, I like that too, that there's multiple ways to play this game. The first time I don't remember, maybe I delivered alcohol one time and I know I never made it. And I won, but not, we scored over 100 points more than we scored in that first game. So like, it obviously wasn't that great of a game as opposed to like what you really can do. Although we played with player powers tonight, which I think definitely juiced me up a little bit anyway. But I think it's cool that the theme follows through because you have to attain the alcohol somehow, whether it is buy it to resell it or make it yourself or go steal it off a boat. One of those three things. And then you have to transport it where you want to sell it. And then you have to sell it. So there's it's a multi-step process, which towards the end of the game, if you didn't really plan it out that well, can really hurt when you got alcohol just sitting there getting ready to get delivered and you didn't get it done in time. I definitely whiffed on that a little bit earlier in the game, but then I was able to make up for it just because through extra tokens, like trying to figure out different ways to do an action you want to do when you really can't take the action a certain way, like whether it's getting it from those little circle tiles or off a card or actually doing it on the board. There's more than one way to get done what you need to do.
There's a couple spots where you can play a card of any color. So like being able to kind of do that and be able to play any one of the 4 actions out of one of those cards is pretty nice.
I also really, really like the player boards. They're very cool. There's a place for everything. They make everything make sense. And they have a bunch of tracks on them.
Mm-hmm.
And then those tracks feed into a mega track. So that is a huge pro for me.
Tracks on tracks.
I know there's tracks that make a bigger track go up. And that doesn't happen in a lot of games, I don't think, really.
No, yeah.
So that big track's a big deal because the higher you go up on that, you get all kinds of cool bonuses and you sell your stuff for more money.
On the flip side of that, it can be really easy to forget to move up the big track,
Right.
but it's really nice that you can look at your board, count the number of spaces you've moved, and then audit it.
Yeah,
there.
you can
So
always just audit
that's
it.
helpful.
Yep.
If that wasn't there, I think that might actually be a con for me, but it's certainly the way it works. It's certainly fine. I just like everything just feels connected, and there's just, in the opposite way of inventions, there's just nothing that's unintuitive about this game. Like doing X, allows you to do, whatever you're going to do. And those, as Tim mentioned earlier, the background of those images are representing where you are. And so it just, everything makes sense. And I like that there are little, eccentricities tucked into everything that you're doing as well. Even for something as simple as trying to, put your books out to claim goals that you've made. To do that, it involves moving on a score track, but typically you want to be at the beginning of the score track, but it actually makes it harder for you to then, have the leverage to protect your buildings if you're there. So there's an incentive to move to lower places in the turn order, and how other people take turns can affect that, which I think is really neat. And one other thing that I think is just really great about the build of this game is there are a lot of little individual tension points. In the beginning, when it is most profitable for you to get buildings on the board, it is hard for you to potentially overcome the strength of where the existing mob already are. But by stretching and reaching for that, it's going to pay you later in the game. When you get towards the end of the game, even though buildings provide you a lot of points, if you can't build them and then protect them, which are often going to be different actions that you're taking, then you're not even going to make anything from them. So there's just this kind of pull of it's difficult when it's most profitable. And when it's easier, it may not be worth it anymore. And so I think that just adds an extra layer of things to think about for all the things that you're doing over the course of the game.
100%.
Yeah. So we didn't really talk about it, but there's helper cards. So helper cards are like, there's basically 4 color cards of the game, the 4 main actions. And there's a 5th set of cards that you play right at the beginning of your turn. And some of them have certain actions on them. And then they have like a monetary value if you have a different like symbol in the bottom.
It's kind of like a set collection.
So, but some of those actions are sell or like make liquor. So
anytime you get a main action without having to do like a major thing to do with the main action is huge in this game. Whether it's like a city tile or one of those cards.
And you can kind of bounce them all over the place. So I think it really helps being able to diversify how you can play the game, right? If that makes sense. You don't have to always play a purple card to sell. Like even building buildings, if you build some of the nightclubs, they have make liquor and sell liquor as two of them. So you can build a nightclub and then sell like right away. I think that's really, I think that's a fantastic part of the game. I have one more pro I wanted to say. Okay. My other pro is the hand management of your cards is for me, I never have enough cards when I want them and I have too many cards when I don't want them, because when you bump tracks in order to get to certain spaces, you have to discard cards. When you go to the restaurant, you have to discard cards.
Building casinos,
you discard cards.
Having to decide which one to discard can be a tough decision for sure.
Yeah, and
the thing is, those decks are so small, and it is pretty easy to get cards, and you always get a card on your turn. Yeah. Those decks are. I think it's probably a pro that they're that small. Like, so there's not a huge, crazy amount of variety, and like that deck cycles. It's got to cycle multiple times per game.
Probably.
I mean, how many different variations do we think there are in each of the 4? I mean, 4 or 5 ultimately different cards total in each of those decks.
Well, and the better the card, the lower the number that I always forget the name.
Leverage,
of it. Yeah, there's like they all have a leverage number that when you play the card, they are stuck in your board after it's done, and they provide you leverage, which helps you put guys out to protect against the cops.
Yeah,
and so if the card was maybe not as good, it's got a higher leverage number, and then the better ones don't provide any leverage at all. But then you can't just keep that card out there and play another card. You always have to be replacing what's in your board. Yeah. So that number's always changing as well.
Yeah. And as we talk about leverage, I would say I do like the turn order mechanism. It's like, so you go to this place where you set your turn order, you have to spend another card to maybe go last. And in this game, I find that going last can be very good because it lets you protect at a lower amount. When you're going first at protecting at 4 per guy, like you can't, especially at the beginning of the game, you can't get more than 1 out. So I think that's really cool. Like there's a place and the turn order really actually means something. And, do I want to spend another card to go last to be able to protect, to be able to, do these things? I I really enjoyed that. I don't know, kind of that thought process and that, I don't know, push and pull on, do I have enough cards? Can I go to the restaurant? I need to go last. Like, am I able to do this? Or, hey, I'm last right now. And then Jake went and he's now going last. So I have to get this done this round and protect. Otherwise, I will have to go do this action again to go last again to be able to protect. I think it's really cool. All right. Any more pros?
I think I'm ready for cons.
Okay. You want to start with one?
I don't know that I really have much to talk about on the negative side. It is a lot to look at all the time. And like, I was very narrow. Like, it makes me get a game this big makes me narrowly focus on things, because if you spread out too much, like I think I did the same few actions kind of over and over again, but there's kind of a cycle to things.
Yeah, there's a loop here. Yeah.
But
I don't know. I felt like you robbed boats a couple times. You made liquor. You delivered liquor. You sold it. Like,
I mean, I did
that's pretty much
everything.
the whole thing. Yeah, you protect.
I did. I specifically went into this game saying, because I did a lot more robbing and stuff last time. Like, I think I definitely sold and delivered and sold more stuff this game for sure, and produced more. So like, I was like, I'm gonna try this game loop and do it, and it was fun. But I mean, I don't know. The con is a lot. I don't know. It's a lot, but like in a good way. It's not like Inventions where I was like, it was just too dense, because everything just makes sense.
Right. Yeah. I think I don't really remember Inventions a lot, but I remember having to read the player aid
literally constantly.
Every action you took, because there was like 5 steps. Whereas here it's like, okay, there's an action. You might get to do a bunch of stuff, but it's like, oh, here's a couple bonuses. You play the thing, but the iconography is all really good. So like, you know what the bonuses mean. Then you get to do the action. And the action might take a while to do, but it's building 2 buildings or whatever it is, right? Whereas Invention was like, okay, there's like 5 steps to this action and they weren't really tied together. Whereas this one, I feel like they're tied together, or it's just bonuses.
Yeah, I mean, there's another con for me, I guess, would be there's a lot of setup for the game. It's it takes up a lot of table space, and there's a lot of like end of round stuff you have to do.
I was just going to say that.
And there's a lot of maintenance.
I think this game would feel a whole lot different to somebody if they didn't have a Tim to just run everything that ran in the middle of it. So it's kind of the same way I feel about Kutna Ora, which I know you all say that running the calculator thing is not much, but when you've never done it, it just feels like it would lead to a way worse experience if somebody just wasn't taking care of that for you.
Yeah, so, I think you would have a way easier time running the calculator on Kutna Ora than understanding.
Sure, I wasn't trying to say they're exactly the same, but just in the idea
feeling.
that the feel of the experience you have is going to matter a ton with who the primary expert on the game is and who's running it.
I would agree. Like the first game, I didn't really try to understand what that part was at all. This game, I understood what was happening, I think, for the most part. Yeah, as far as that goes. But I mean, it's still a lot like find the places, put the guys out. Oh, it's this specific guy. It goes here.
Well, and I think the board actually does a pretty good job of running you through what happens. But I guess my major qualm with it is it can be very easy because the tiles for where the mob's coming and where they're coming out are the same, that you can be like, wait, what was this one? Which were the ones we were supposed to resolve now versus the ones we weren't?
Yeah.
And then I just feel like there's a little bit of...
I probably did them in the wrong order too, that first round, for sure.
Okay, and maybe that is somebody do that. I mean, it is a minor thing, but I do think that that's there's definitely some handling that exists between the rounds that can be a lot.
I would say you need like a Sherpa your first round, like your first game, like someone that can get the board set up, kind of tell you what to do and then run you through those things. I think conceptualizing that part, like just doing it out of the rule book, maybe on your first play, is tough. It's tough. My other con, anything else to add to the...
I mean, I was just going to say, I mean, this goes without saying in that it's a Lacerda. I mean, it is also a long game. You need to be prepared for that. I think better than some other ones, there's enough to think about where you're going to maximize your points that it doesn't feel necessarily as negative. And also, even I guess the worker placement is friendly in the fact that even if somebody goes exactly where you want to go, you can still take that action and just give that other person a little benefit. And I think that is really important for a game like this. If there was because of the cycle and how you have to set things up, if you just were boxed out of doing something, especially at the end of the game, that could be devastating. And so the fact that they open that door to either it's an infinite spot that anybody can go to, or you can move somebody out, I think that's really important.
So I played it solo. I played it at 3 players,
At least 3 times.
3 or 4 times, and once at 4 players. One round, I saw the park fill up where you couldn't bump another worker. Otherwise, it's basically been full available almost every time. I've never really had anybody be like, yeah, I can't take this action. So it's just enough that there's enough spots in the action plus the park to be able to, get what you need to get done.
Well, then there's usually another way to get it done as well.
There is, yeah.
Depending on the situation. I find the boats, I understand them now, but the boats I feel like are fairly a little unintuitive, maybe.
The colors aren't super vibrant to identify what boat is
like
what
understanding
and where it's
what
located.
boat I can attack at what point, but I get it now because it's the sections.
Well,
for whatever reason, that part didn't stick in my head, and then they're kind of like over there on the side. That was a little goofy, but
the liquor blocks a little bit of the color of the boat. Like, it depending on how you're sitting at. Like, mine was like how I was looking. I couldn't see which colors were which because the little rum barrels were sitting on top of it. So
yeah, but I like the fact that to the fact of not being able to do anything. Like, I thought I wasn't going to be able to do anything my last action because you bought from a boat and you moved it, and I had all my guys in the middle, but being able to spend $1 to use other people's guys as your own is huge. And like, I was able to do a different one, and that boat was actually better for me anyway. So that actually is, I guess, another pro. Like, stealing from those boats is fun because I like getting the little crate. The main thing I think is probably just getting the crate, even though you do get the bonus barrel. And if you do enough steal actions, you can have enough barrels to then sell, which is what I did the first game. Because, who wants to make your own stuff?
Yeah, getting $20 or $30, it's probably more like $15 to $25 of money in hand in the middle of the game is
crazy good.
So good. It's so good.
I want to jump back really quick because there's something else I want to make sure or at least that I've enunciated in regards to something I really like about this. So as we, I guess as a good counterpoint, when we talked about Daitoshi, I really struggled with the fact that the way that the game looks makes you want to maximize your turns, but there's so many things that are out of your control that you can't always prepare for it. Whereas this game, the action you might want to take often has other benefits that go with it. And so because it's so clear and the iconography tells you what you need to do to maximize that action, doing something on a different turn can make you feel really smart to set up the next turn that you want to take to be able to maximize something out of that. So what brought this back to my mind is robbing the boats. The robbing the boat action also typically lets you play an orange card, which is typically how you produce. And so a lot of the time when you're thinking about robbing the boat, you may not be thinking about producing in the same scale, but to set yourself up to know that you want to do that, to end your last turn with taking an orange card, to then enable you to do better on that action just feels good. And I think there's a lot of feels good in this game, what you do and how it sets up for how you can maximize your actions later.
Yeah, I think we all had a couple turns where it was like, yeah, that felt real good. You sell like $70 worth of stuff, or
I like the fact also that you really don't know where you're at in the game. Like, it's kind of a surprise at the end to think who wins a little bit.
It's fun to see the again, the not knowing, but seeing Rob just gain a hundo and put it in his vault, and be like, oh, that's crazy. But like
everybody thought I was going to win this game, but like I knew you guys were crushing it on the area control thing, which I think that's my least favorite part of the entire game, probably.
I think for me too, actually.
So, like, that might be, I mean, if I'm going to con it, that might be a con, like, being able to track constantly how well you're doing in all the areas. And, like, it's so hard to build and then also protect and be able to, like, stop them from attacking you. Like, the double threat of that. That being, like, it's a pro and a con. It's just, you have to do a lot of planning for that. And, like, you could totally overextend yourself by just, like, continuously building. And, like, I only went to the middle section. And that definitely cost me the game. Like, if I could have just owned one more section, one more place, that probably would have been better.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that's just something to think of in the future. Like, you need to diversify a little bit.
Go ahead, Tim.
I really like the, okay, do I want to really own this area versus there at the bottom of them, there's like book scorings of like goals you want to get for the little area.
Yeah.
And then, or do I kind of like trickle on across the board, but then it's hard for me to deliver alcohol all the way across, but then I get in, all the other scorings. Right. Even getting third place in one of the regions is still $15 to $20, which is really good, right?
I know. I think that's better than like, I was in one area and I was able to deliver to like 4 different buildings there pretty regularly. But then like I was getting first place in that one every time, but I got 0 in the other 2 zones the whole game.
Yeah. You were in the cheapest zone too, because it's right in the middle.
And I was in the cheapest zone. So I don't know.
For me, I do like that it's 3 or 4 different things that make you want to do 3 or 4 different things, right? Like if that makes sense. Like you want to dominate an area, but also I need to get a casino and a speakeasy in one district instead of spreading them out, or
I like the building goals, I think. I just don't think I like the area majority.
That's what I mean.
Is whatever.
My resistance to area control has been well documented in this, but I generally just don't like the feel that it is more advantageous for you to just be second place in a place that nobody's paying attention to than to have undergone your plan and win an area. Which I get it that there are people who that is how they feel clever, sneaking into those areas and doing that, and I fully understand that for them. But again, to what Rob was saying, I do think that is something that I don't like as much about this game as well, but it doesn't ultimately change my opinion on how I feel about it, which is probably a good segue.
I got one last con. At the end of your turn, you draw a card.
It's really easy to forget.
And when you bump the track on your board, you bump the track on the side, which is also really easy to forget. So look, if you can kind of, I think I've gotten pretty good at being like, hey, draw a card. Hey, draw a card. Hey, draw a card. Oh, hey, you bumped a track. Okay, I'm over here. I'm going to bump it for you. But like, it is definitely something you can certainly forget. And you can't audit the cards. You can definitely audit your track bumps, which is probably more important. Agree. But just, it's just a little fiddly on top of like some of the other fiddly things. So, all right, with that said, do you want to roll into final thoughts?
Yeah, so here on the Board Boys podcast, we have a 3-boing rating scale, 0 being the worst, 3 being the best. Half boings are allowed. 4 boings is your most favorite game ever.
Which Rob can just use on his whim.
Just whenever I want. Maybe it'll be Speakeasy tonight. Who knows? Our power cord just totally fell off the table. We're still recording?
We're still good.
Cool. I'm not going to touch anything. So I would think like a 0-boing game of Speakeasy is Prohibition Never End. Well, hold on.
That'd be good for the gangsters.
That'd be good for the gangsters.
The U.S. actually provides the money to enforce Prohibition.
Oh, there we go. So Prohibition works, and we don't get to make any money at all. And instead of 1 cop in all the zones, there were probably like 10
cops. And you can't sell anything, and no one wants booze.
Or a 0-boing game of Speakeasy is where you have to have an auditor come and check your books at the end of the round, and all the money that's unaccounted for sends you to jail.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And I think the 3-boing is you're just the Godfather.
Yeah. Just selling booze everywhere.
Yeah.
Sneaking it in. Selling booze out of somebody else's casino.
All of them. Yeah. All right. I'll go first. For me, Speakeasy is one of my top Lacerdas for sure, which isn't saying a whole lot. It really, really, really gives me escape plan vibes. Not in the gameplay, but just how thematic it is. And that is why it is like escape plan is one of my favorite Lacerdas because it is very thematic. And I like the bank robbing theme or like the heist theme. And this is also a cool theme. So 2.5 boings for me. If I were to give my top 3 Lacerda games, I think it would be, I need to play Escape Plan again because it's been 6 years or something. But I would say until I do that, Speakeasy is probably my favorite. Then I'll go Escape Plan. Then I'll go Gallerist. I need to play Kanban.
What about Lisboa?
I played that one time. I need to probably play that again, but that was a huge obfuscation puzzle to me from what I remember. And I got even taught by Paul Grogan at BGG Con. And I think I played 90% of the game. And then like the last 10%, I actually kind of understood what I was doing. I know it's like one of the more popular ones, but, and like On Mars is probably be up there as well. Like if I were to give like an honorable mention, but nothing like the reason his games just don't resonate because I think compared to like the heavy Euros I like in the T-ish type games, most of those feel just more intuitive, or like I can just pop them out and play them like with minimal remembrance or like through the player aid. Speakeasy is on that level, I think. I mean, besides the maintenance crap, which you could just walk through, I mean, the gameplay, I could just pick this up and play it, I think, especially with the little player aid they've got. So that's why it is a 2.5 for me.
I can go next since this is Tim, so we'll let him be the anchor of the episode.
Yeah.
I very much enjoyed it, and I think that this definitely got me excited for Great Library, which is the next one that's coming, and the fact that I think that's, historical themed as well, and I hope it can continue the where they left off here.
Did you back it?
I did not.
Okay.
Did you?
No.
Okay, we don't have it anywhere right now, but we'll figure it out.
We do not.
Anyways, I really, really enjoy this. Theme isn't necessarily the most important thing to me, but when it is to my old position of social studies, that obviously raises the level. But I have a ton of fun playing this. There's a ton of things that when I finish a game, I immediately think, hey, I want to do this next time, which is a really good sign for me. So I think it is a 3-point game for me, and I definitely will say it is my favorite Lacerda. Although I did just play Kanban again, and I really like that as well. So maybe I'm turning a page on Lacerda. I don't know.
By playing as good games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not play the bad ones.
Not play. Yeah. So, yeah. This is a hard 3 for me. I think it's my favorite game from last year. It's definitely my most played game last year. I really like this game. I think it's really, the worker placement is really tight. Like you said, Jake, every time you leave the game, you're like, I could have done this differently. I want to do this more. Like the 11 actions really leave you with wanting to do more. And I think there's, just more to explore. I can't say enough good things about this game. I really like it. I would say it is definitely my favorite Lacerda, then probably Kanban. I've not played very much on Mars, and I think Inventions is way down at the bottom. For me, Great Library looked way more like Inventions as far as the gameplay goes. It might be more intuitive because of the theme or whatever, but I looked into it a little bit at, having loved this one and like just got it. The Kickstarter just came out, and I was like, I'm not backing this. It looks too weird. So cool. All right, with that, we will wrap up Speakeasy, and we do like to look back 1 year in the past to a segment we could call the Bump and Dump. Rob?
Bumper dump time, baby.
All right. So 1 year ago, we looked at Unconscious Mind. It was 8.0 for 669. It is now 7.9. Bumper dump.
Bump it.
Bump.
Yeah, definitely a bump. So we've played this a bunch.
What's that at now?
It's at 7.9 for 333.
333.
Yeah. We played this a bunch.
That's true.
I don't know about since then or not, but
I have played it 8 times.
Okay. So
a couple more times, I think, since we played it.
I was a 3. You were a 2.5.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Any more thoughts?
No, it's probably a 2.5. It opened up itself a little more to me. The company loves to throw way too many modules in it. So,
yeah.
And I've played with all of them, and it's just too much. The Nightmare expansion, though, is very fun and totally juices the game up. That one is cool to play with.
I have not played with that one.
And yeah, there's a way to unlock another level to that game. It's really good.
I really like the game.
Yeah.
The worker placement with the little chat bubbles.
Yeah.
Is so good.
Yeah, it's very fun.
Yeah. With the 1 or 2 chat. Yeah, I don't know. It's very, very good. All right. If you want to give us some feedback, you can do so at our Board Game Geek Guild. You can find that through the website. BJ from Board Game Gumbo says, I've only played this once or twice. Despite the glorious art, there was something missing for me. If I recall correctly, I never could grok the Vienna board very well. I've never really actually walked around that too much. But I find that
that's the thing that is the hardest to do, I think.
Yeah.
And that's how you unlock the next level, I think, of the game is dipping into that board.
I just remember it being like when it can give you something extra, like it can unlock a wobble that you really need.
Yeah, you want to try to be and have influence in the different areas for extra points too.
Yeah, so he struggled to get his engine going, and I bet just need a play or two to go make that go up, because on the surface it has everything I like in a midweight Euro. I give it 2 boings, but Board Jared will probably just edit it out of the podcast. Christopher Boat.
Can I make him out of the podcast?
That would be amazing.
Okay.
Yeah. The theme carries this one quite a bit. Johnny Pack is such a cool designer. I mostly ignored the city board. Again, same thing with that BJ said. And it didn't hurt me at all, so I think I wish it played a bigger role in the game. Still need to try the expansions, 2.5 boings. Ryan, I've only played this solo and I would not recommend it that way as the bot is way too cumbersome. While the art and production are fantastic, the gameplay overall wasn't that interesting. 1.5 boings. Did you play it solo?
No, I did
Okay.
not.
David Moore says it's a brain twister, which is a really funny theme. I love messing with the wheel and the track of elements to get the right resources to treat my patients. Action selection was really fun and highly interactive. Only aspect I really didn't like was walking around town.
It's a common theme.
So it never really seemed to work it out anytime I played. 2 boings, 2.5. It wasn't such a table hog or tedious to set up. Then Louis Fontana, I think this is a first one for him to reply to any of our bumper dumps, so that's awesome. It's a weird one for him. He really likes the art, the theme, and the mechanisms. My wife and I played it once, and we generally enjoyed the play. But for some reason, we've never brought it back to the table. We still own it, yet neither of us has suggested setting it up again. Maybe it's because the setup's a bit of a bear. I'm not sure entirely. It's one of those games I want to love more, and maybe with another play or two, it'll click deeper. For now, 2.5 boings, but based on that one enjoyable play, and hopefully we'll revisit it soon.
I would agree with that. It is, much like Speakeasy, a lot to set up. I have a 3D insert that kind of helps with it, but man, it's still just a huge footprint for a game.
Yeah, because it's got multiple boards, and you got all the
you've
cards.
you got your little circle board, and then your big old player board.
Dude, it rips though.
It's good.
It's very
time
good.
to bring it back.
Yeah.
All right, you haven't played it, have you?
I have never played it. Nope.
Well, time to make that happen.
I have a feeling I'm not going to like the Vienna board and the walking around town.
If you just do it, it's good. Like, it's how you. I'm trying to remember what's so hard about it.
I think this will play out the exact same way Galileo did, in that I just didn't fully understand the Inquisitors, so I just completely ignored it. And then the next time I was like, I'm going to do that. And then I did it, and I liked it. And I liked the game way more as a result of it. So.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's not necessary to. It feels very hard to hammer.
Yeah.
But like, it can definitely get you cool. Like,
yes,
it can get you good stuff at the time that you need it right away. So
100%. All right. Well, thanks for listening to another episode of the Board Boys Podcast, Season 17, Episode 13, Speakeasy from Vital Lacerda and Eagle Gryphon Games. Join us next time for Season 18. Wah, 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 wah.
almost 10 years.
Wild. And we will be having a Season 17 game day at Dungeons Gate if you are in the area on January 31st. That is a Saturday during the afternoon. So come play the games we've talked about in Season 17. You can go to theboardboys.com and join our Discord from there. You can play some BGA games with New Daddy Cam. You can join our Patreon and support us. You can also support us through 5-star iTunes and Spotify reviews. BJ from Board Game Gumbo, Timothy Crisco, Shifty Teeth, Jordan Smith, Andre Bosch, Braden Dowdy, Rob Cooper, Richard Lane, Matt Kelly, Portland Gamecraft, Terry Ward, Mark D. IV, and Jeremy Thilman. Thanks again, everybody. And until next time, we hope you like board games.
Boing, boing, boing.
I would like to thank our patrons now. BJ from